Okay, enough already. We've talked about the constant modulus algorithm, but what is this algorithm? What is it? What are the steps? What is the math that I have to perform in order to get these miracles? So let's have a look now at the algorithm. It's a very simple algorithm. So we're going to look here at a couple for loops, and the first for loop is looking at the number of iterations. Remember I said you can iterate the process in order to improve performance. But at the core, at the inside, is where we're doing it for a single iteration. So we're going to start out in this inner, I'm going to take you now through these steps here. We're going to start with the first part, the beginning of this for loop. First of all, I'm going to the length of the data I have, but I'm skipping, okay? So I'm selectively sampling one sample. So if I have 5 samples per symbol, I'm going to take the first one and the 6th one, etc. So this is where I am choosing where I'm going to be doing my improvement. So I'm going to end up outputting 1 sample per symbol, and this is how in the for loop right away I'm focusing in on that one of the samples that I'm going to be improving on. So I set here a sliding window, so I am moving my filter taps across my entire data set. So at some point I start at 0.1, later I'm going to start at 0.5. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what number I'm using for samples per symbol here, and certainly in the example we're going to see it's going to be 2 samples per symbol. But in any case, I'm sliding a window. I'm taking the data that starts at this point, but now even though I'm only putting the starting point is making these jumps so that it happens 1 sample per symbol, the actual data that I'm putting through my filter is going to be, you know, as many as there are in the filter tab. So maybe I need a little illustration here. So I have, let's say x1, x2, x3, x4, x5, etc. And let's say I have 2 samples per symbol. So I'm going to, the first time, and let's say I have 3 tabs. Try and keep my illustrations easy to follow. So I'm going to start at x1. It's going to be the first one because it's 1. So I'm going to start at 1. And the next time I'm going to start at 3. And the next time I'm going to start at 5, etc. So I'm going to have this sliding window. But as I'm sliding this window, I'm keeping in this index everything, as many as I have taps. So I'm going to take x1, x2, x3 because I have 3 taps, so I need 3 of my data to push through it. And when I get here, I'm going to have x4, x5, x6, x7, etc. So I'm keeping, each time I have this sliding window, I'm making a big slide. I'm not sliding by 1 sample, I'm sliding by 1 symbol, but I'm keeping all of the samples that I have for my filter tap, as many samples as I have. So the next point is I'm going to apply the filter. So here I have 3 values for my data in. Here's my H, that's my filter taps. I've got 3 filter taps. That's what I'm going to be adapting. So I take my 3 filter taps, I multiply it by my 3 data, and I sum them. That's the output of my filter. So this is the output of the filter. There's going to be 1 output for each symbol. There'll be 1 output. And this is only calculated for 1 time per symbol. It's not, even though I have 2 samples per symbol, I'm not doing a calculation for the sliding window that starts at x2. I'm only calculating it once per symbol. And that is why the output of the CMA algorithm is only 1 sample per symbol. So when it's time to update my tap weights, so my tap weights are going to be, again, updated once per symbol. And this is a classic adaptation for the tap weights. And in this, we have the step size. And of course, this is a little bit system dependent. So you have to play with this factor in order to get fast convergence and low noise afterwards. A very classic adaptive filtering problem. You also have here this objective function. How far am I from the unit circle? And depending on how far I am from the unit circle, I'm going to make a bigger or smaller adjustment to the tap weights at that time. So new h for the next window, when I get to it, I'll have a new h. And each time a new h. So when I showed you the convergence, 5,000, 1,000, 5,000, 9,000, it was like as I'm stepping through this, as I'm updating the tap weights. Again, we saw that iteration improved, so the outer for loop is just to allow us the chance to iterate, starting from the last conversion for the tap weights. So there's two parameters that we can adjust in terms of complexity. If I want to change the complexity of the CMA algorithm, these are the two parameters that I'm going to be touching. And the bigger they are, either one of them, the more operations are required in order to finish the adaptation.